Is that a little better?
Way better, thank you.
Way better, yeah. I guess it's better. I'll just take it off speaker. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So today I have members of the team here is myself. I'm the lead on this project, and we have Elena, which is she's a rehabilitation worker here at Salus, and she'd be like the voice of the front line. And we have Michael, the program manager here at Salus, and he's has two hats. He's the executive sponsor and our administrative expert. And we also have two full-time staff here with us to give us some support, Ruby and Heather. So if we can just go to the next slide. And might as well just go to the next slide. That's just the team members here. So Grove, is this the right one? Did you guys end up putting the new one?
We did put the new one that you sent today.
It's the old one.
That's what you sent us this morning. Can we carry on?
Can we carry on? Well, that is the old version. Can I just see the next slide? Or it is the old one, yeah. I guess I can go with the old one. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to go with the old one then, eh?
I think that's best at this point.
Okay. I'll see what I can do here. If we can go back to the previous slide. Okay, at Grove, we are a transitional rehabilitation program that provides rehabilitation and recovery services within the forensic mental health system. And our project is based on our staff here. We've observed that clients have limitations in their healthier eating competencies, especially with our clients making healthier food choices. This was observed in our clients' like daily living here, and as well as within the delivery of our programming. To help support our observations, we referred to the quality standards report. The report indicates and highlights that people living with schizophrenia experience a higher rate of physical and mental health issues, some of which are a result of their eating habits. In order to address this topic, we closely examined the issue and identified several root causes. As a group, we decided to focus our improvements efforts on healthier food choices with the aim to increase the average score of 1.99 on the standardized observation tool by 50% by September 2019. We're at the point of generating change ideas currently that we can implement using a PDSA cycle. Next slide, please. Our problem and aim statement. So our problem statement is people living with schizophrenia and mental illness experience a higher rate of health issues. Clients of Grove demonstrate limited healthier eating competencies and struggle with making healthier food choices. The clients perform and expectations in healthy eating competencies are formed and observed through the client's knowledge, skill, and their ability. On average, clients of Grove scored 1.99. That's a scale of 1 to 5. And based on those observations, it was healthier food choices. We aim to increase clients' average score in the healthier food choices domain related to the demonstration of clients' knowledge, skill, and ability from 40% to 60% by September 2019. So the tools that we used was the diagnostic tools, was the fishbone diagram. With the fishbone diagram, we utilize this by engaging our clients in a focus group. So we created a focus group on that. And they reviewed all of the possible causes from their perspective. We also sent out a fishbone to all of our current full-time and part-time staff, also with some of the staff that have worked in this program in the past. We also used the 5 Whys tool. We got all of our full-time staff, and we also have a random sample of part-time staff to help complete this tool. And next is the process mapping. In developing the process map, we kept it as just the E-QIP team, and within our group, the perspective of community rehabilitation and the hospital was equally represented. So we had in our team, we have the Royal representing as well as the Salus. Next slide, please. So in order for us to analyze the possible causes of our problem, the fishbone tool was first needed to be defined. So we had to define and do some work with that. With those factors, we organized the possible causes into 4 different pillars. We also isolated and separated them into specific possible factors. So the four major factors that we and what we separated them into was impacts in lifestyle factors, impacts in environmental factors, impacts in developmental factors, and impacts in healthy eating factors. From this tool, we were able to isolate and categorize each possible factor within the agreed upon pillar. The most influential pillar that we came up with the most that we can do the most change and have influences is healthier eating factors. Next slide, please. And here's just an example of the fishbone, the completed fishbone. We can move on to the next slide as well. And here's an example of our process map, all beautiful and colorful. Next slide. And the 5 Whys. And yeah, if we can go to the next slide. So out of the 5 Whys, we've found the root causes that there is one of them. There are limited program resources, so time, energy, and funds. The assessment tools need to be more comprehensive. Nutrition and healthy eating was not set as a priority in our recovery programs. Nutrition is seen as being separate from and less important than mental health recovery at times. There is a gap in the staff's assessment of clients' needs and prior knowledge to the topic. Our programming does not have adequate or sustainable, consistent plan or groups within Grove or the Royal to address this isolated issue. Okay, next slide. Okay, there's a little bit of jigging around.
So what you've got on the one that you sent us, I've just found it here, is the starting point in the baseline data. Do you want to speak to that one?
Yeah.
It's not on the screen, but go ahead.
It's not on the screen, yeah. So I don't know if I can probably jump to the diagnostic journey here. I'll just go through. Okay. So the most surprising thing we learned, um, um, the most surprising thing we learned as a group was just how challenging it can be to develop a problem statement. Even when using the diagnostic tools, the process is really iterative, and we had to revise our problem statement several times as we navigated through the many different tools. The most surprising thing learned about the problem is that this topic holds a wide variety of complex eating habits um, that directly impact our clients. In addition, the mental health system appears to have gaps when it comes to incorporating the knowledge of healthy food choices in clients' recovery. The next slide. Did you go to the next slide? Okay, the starting point based on. Okay, so yeah, so in the process of running the diagnostic tools, we came to a conclusion that a clear start point or baseline data was needed to be established in order to fully support or reinforce what we have observed as the problem. Our baseline assessments did clients' self-rating and staff assessment of knowledge, staff observation assessment of client skills, and food log assessments. If you can just change to the next slide. And that's just an example of one of the food logs. We can go to the next slide. So this is where this is where it gets tricky for me here. This is where I completely edited things. So
why don't you tell us the story?
What's that?
Why don't you tell us the story? So what you found out?
Well, I don't know if I can just go off the cuff that way, but I'll go like so the food log data collection. So Grove clients were requested to complete food logs for 1 week. So all food consumed was noted by the clients. It was a self-assessment. They were really cooperative and kind of excited about this, and they did a really good job taking part of it. Once it was finalized, the team scanned the food logs and extrapolated a hypothesis regarding possible gaps in the client's healthy food choice competencies. So we were able to really pinpoint, and it actually gave a visual for the clients as well to like stuff like binge eating and eating once a day, and it really drew light to it. If you can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so I'm just going to speak to this here. So the graphs are completely changed here. I kind of made, so client self-assessment. So what we did was we did client self-assessment, and we also have our staff assessment that in conjunction with that. So client self-assessment of their own knowledge was collected, as well as the staff's assessment of clients' knowledge. These assessments were different as seen in the above graph. In general, clients tended to assess themselves as more knowledgeable than the staff's assessment. So I don't know which slide here will kind of show the comparison. But client self-assessment did not indicate any major deficits. The next slide, we'll just see if it, yeah. So according to staff's assessment of clients' knowledge, the healthy food choices index was lower than other indexes, like meal planning, preparation, budgeting, and food safety. Um, 2 clients out of the 4 showed healthy food choices index at 2, and other 2 clients were at 3 on the scale 1 to 5. So according to the, if you can just change the other slide. Yeah, okay. So according to staff's assessment of clients' skills, uh, the healthy food choices index was the lowest out of all indexes. Um, healthy food choices, meal planning, preparation, budgeting, and food safety. 2 clients showed um, index at 7 and 6, and the other 2 clients were at 2 at 6 on the scale of 1 to 15. The scale is accumulative of staff's scoring, as at times staff's scoring differed significantly. So we found like our assessment was really completely different than what our clients um, think that they're where they're at. Can you change the slide again? Okay. I'm just trying to get to that point here. Okay. Staff observed a higher deficit in clients' knowledge. Client self-assessment indicates stronger skills. Based on interviews and observations, the healthy food choices competencies appeared to be the weakest set of competencies identified by staff. The food logs indicate that there are additional deficiencies around meal planning and scheduling. Example like the binge eating and eating out. So therefore, the change ideas will be focusing on healthy food choices as far as competencies. And then currently we have currently just arrived at the point in this project where we can start looking at generating the change ideas and implement using a PDS cycle for our improvement efforts on building strategies of promoting healthier food choices. In conjunction to the change ideas and PDSA cycles portion of this project, we as a program are developing manuals and procedures to better help support and focus and be clear in our improvement efforts on healthier food choices, and which supports our aim to increase the average score of 1.99 on the standardized observation tool by 60% by September 2019. And I think the next slide.